Всяка година глобалната технологична компания Accenture идентифицира този пулс чрез 6 ключови фактора: технологии, таланти, икономика, геополитика, разбира се, климат, потребителски и социални нагласи. И по този начин Accenture, чрез този уникален и първи по рода си подход, открива кои промени засягат компаниите най-много, каква е готовността им да реагират на тези промени и по-важното, как те ще бъдат разбрани от обществото, защото, както Стоян Михайловски е написал преди повече от 130 години, нещо чисто ново, когато е прекалено ново, много трудно бива възприемано от едно общество. Така че всичко трябва да става плавно. Така, компанията Accenture, каняте, само още 2 думи, изготвя своя доклад, Life Trends доклад, който е прозорец към отношението на хората към света около тях и всичко, което се случва днес, тук и сега. Така ви представям Петър Торнев, управляващ директор на технологичния център на Accenture в България, за едно уникално по рода си изследване. Заповядай, Петър. Заповядай. Още 2 думи за методиката, преди да погледнем към данните.
Ние правим тези доклади вече повече, може би от 20 години. И всяка година се оказват все по-точни и по-точни, което е много интересен феномен. Но дали всъщност е феномен? Всъщност за тези проучвания стоят ужасно много хора, които работят в различни индустрии, различни направления в компанията, занимават се. Това са хора, които се, разбира се,
това са хиляди хора, нали? Повече от 3400.
Не, сега. Компанията ни е над 750 хиляди души, глобално.
Да, само.
Да не падна, да. Но проучванията, които работим, правят много големи извадки, се правят с много голям брой хора, които участват в проучването. Обикновено са между 4000, но стигат и до 20 и няколко хиляди. Примерно някои от нещата, които ще презентираме днеска, се направи с проучването над 20-30 хиляди души.
Те са много сериозно профилирани.
Да.
Различни нива, различни сектори.
Абсолютно. Всеки един сектор е засегнат, във всеки един сектор има някаква информация, която е полезна, но сега ще покажем по-скоро глобалните данни, а пък всеки един от вас може да свали докладите от сайта, така че по-скоро ви насърчавам да ги свалете, защото информацията вътре е много полезна. Ние пускаме подобни доклади почти може би през 2 месеца, нещо пускаме. Следете на сайта и сваляйте тази информация, тя е там, за да се използва. И е много полезна, всъщност.
Добре. Петър Торнев, дами и господа.
Thank you. And I will switch in English because of the great audience. But one thing that I found, before I start, one thing that I have found very interesting, and why I love this conference, and this is not like to continue wooing Martin and Peter for the invite, but actually it's a conference that shows the positivity and how we can change as people, how we can change as companies, and how in general we can think about the future. Because last year, when there was this huge hype about AI, I was participating in so many conferences, and one thing that was really getting me into my nerves was that how everybody initially was talking about that everybody will disappear, people will disappear, AI is going to eat up our jobs, we will not have what to do, and so on and so forth. And you saw the presentation earlier on. And actually, I will complement those presentations and to really again emphasize on the fact that AI is a tool, and this is what we need to think about it. It's a tool, how it will help us to do our job better. It's not going to replace us. Think about it. No one is able to stop progression, right? Humanity is always finding a way to innovate, to deliver services faster, to deliver products better, with a much better quality and so on and so forth. And we want to do it cost efficiently. But people have changed and people gain new skills, and I'll touch upon this. So as was mentioned, one of the first report, and we decided to put this presentation to two parts actually. The first one is talk about something that is the speed of change that is happening and what we need to do as companies and also as employees or as people in reality. What do we need to do in order to make those things better? And the second presentation talk about those life trends that kind of derive from these huge changes and how the world is adopting. The first thing is, yes, the speed is very high. It's very fast and it's exponential. So only in the last years, let's say last 4 years, the change of speed is 183%. Just as a comparison, and I'll touch upon this. Technology is now #1 cause of change. This is the factor that is really driving the changes nowadays. However, more than 50%, and this was also mentioned in the previous presentation, more than 50% of CEOs are not really ready. And I think Petra also mentioned it on the presentation early on, that actually the adoption is not that fast. Yes, there is a hype, but companies don't know what to do with the data. They don't know how to implement those transformational projects. Have in mind that big transformation projects that are happening today, 70%, if not more, are failing because companies don't know how to use technologies in order to implement those changes, how to use the talent strategies in order to advance the company to adhere to the market trends. So this is very critical, and this is how I'm going to focus. So this is a little bit of the data from the report that shows you that actually only in 2019 the speed of change was 5%. And only in the last 4 years, as I mentioned, is only 183%. And what is more interesting, the previous 4 years, the speed of change for the previous 4 years was only 8%. And now it's 183, so you can think about this, just let it sink for a minute, and you really think about how global and how fast those changes are. But what can we expect? For 2024, the speed of change is expected to be around 35% again. So it's not slowing down, but the adoption, it's a very interesting moment that I'll touch upon now. However, what are we expecting? We're expecting much better change, much faster change into the years to come. But we need to learn, and again, I will keep on emphasizing on this, we need to adapt. There is always this saying that, right, that not the strongest individual survives, but the ones that adapts the best. So it was said also into the, Ella mentioned this, and this really resembled to me because I'm really big fan of learning, but if you guys here are employees, right, it's your responsibility also. It's not only employees' responsibility, but it is your responsibility to get trained as well and to learn the new skills if you don't want to become irrelevant on the market. But at the same time, it's also as employers, it's our responsibility to get you all the tools that you need and to get you all the trainings that you need in order for you to continue to be relevant, not only for yourself and for the company, but also because you're not married to any company, right? Unless probably it's your company. But company needs to enable you to do your job, and then that will make you more relevant for the future. But the speed of change will not stop. The speed of change is more perceived as an opportunity rather than as a threat. And again, this is with the adoption of AI. AI is here to help us and to make our job easier, make our tasks and our life easier. But again, just to continue complementing, and I think because I was not able to talk neither to Petra nor to Ella, but you will see how we'll start complementing what has been said. Not many people are really ready because these are those factors like talent, environmental, geopolitical changes, and so on and so forth, that are shaping how our companies are responding to the market and to the consumers. But as you can see from the data, people are not really ready. Companies are not really ready. They don't know really how to. This screen disappeared, by the way, just so you know. Oh, thank you. They don't know really how to adopt their strategies as yet. They're learning to do it. And that's why the adoption is a little bit slowing down. Very interesting thing about that is the following. And I would like to focus on this one more. In 2022, the technology was on 6th place as a disruptor. Now technology became first. Look at the table on the right side where it says what is the perception of the leadership. The perception of the leadership in terms of technology is matching completely. But look at what is the second place. For 2023, the second place is still talent as a disruptor. In 2022, talent was the first place, and then the perception of the C-levels, the talent is in the 4th place, and this is coming from a very important point. People constantly saying, there is no people on the market, where did all the people after the pandemic disappeared, and so on and so forth, right? Yeah, it's our responsibility again, as I said, to make sure that we have the right talent strategies. It is our responsibility to train people, to reskill people, to upskill people, but we as employers can do only as much, and then the rest is really to you. But talent is very important. Also, climate changes. You see what is happening now on the news, it's all over the place what happened in Spain, right? Climate is changing and it is no joke. And it's no joke, and we need to use all the technologies that we have at hand, and there are lots of examples presented. There are many more examples out there. You can all check them. But sustainability is still an important topic. This is just not a talk, and it shouldn't be just a talk in companies to say, oh, we're doing this in order to become a neutral carbon footprint and so on and so forth. It is there. Continuing on that trend, why 47% of the C-levels feel that they're not prepared for this accelerated change? And because they don't know. They don't know how to use the digital transformations at the best extent. At the moment, in another report that we have, which is connected to this pulse of change actually, we separated the companies into 3 types of companies. Ones that we called optimizers. These are about 10% of the companies. Another bunch of companies that we called reinventors. These are about 9% of the companies. And 81% of the companies we call transformers. So what is the difference between those 3 categories? The 10%, they really don't focus on innovation. These are companies that most probably will disappear from the market. There are many, many examples of those that if you don't innovate and if you're not fast enough, potentially you're going to disappear, and those 10% stay there. The 81 are interesting. These are the transformers. These are companies that are doing digital transformation, but in silos. They're taking the right steps. They're ready to adopt AI into the process of within the company and so on and so forth. But they're still slow. But this is the majority of the companies. Why? Again, as I said, because they're working on silos, they have a talent strategy, they have a sustainability strategy, they have a technology strategy, but those are not converging, they're not working together. So what needs to happen, you need to start combining as companies, you need to start combining all those strategies together in order to adhere to the market trends. As you can see, and those 9% are reinventors are the companies that are doing constant changes. It needs to be a wheel. You cannot do a one transformation project, which more belongs to those 81% of the companies, then you stop. This cannot be the case. You need to continue because, as you see, the market is going to push you. And you need to make this, you need to instill this into the mindset of the company, into your, I don't know, probably vision or mission and the strategy, even in your talent, that you need to adopt to the speed of change, but you need to continually find a way to reinvent yourself. Like, this is what is good about it. And I find it very challenging, and I heard, I'm going to quote Ella now, but she said, I'm training. One thing that is very important, yes, we need to train, and for example, what Accenture does, we push the training from the top. We don't push the trainings from the bottom. So for all the adoptions of AI, to learn how AI is working, to work how to be able to understand how to help clients with digital transformation, we push the trainings first to the leadership. And once the leadership is trained, then we start pushing the trainings downwards. And this is what helps us continue reinventing ourselves. And that's why Accenture is more than 750,000 people globally. And we will continue growing. AI hasn't reduced the size of the company, by the way, and it's not going to reduce it. And the threatening statistics is, for me, 44% of the companies are saying that they need between 6 and 24 months. And I thought I had another slide, but I think we removed it by mistake, where I wanted to show you what is the global trend versus North America versus Europe versus Latin America. Globally is 44%. Europe, actually, contrary to what was said a little bit earlier, Europe is a little bit faster into adoption of AI. It's about 41% that are saying that are between 6 and 24 months, but the rest belongs to Europe, where actually is a little bit faster ahead in adoption of the AI. One question that we talked about is the shortage of skill, because everybody's talking about there is no skill, what we do and how we're going to do it, and so on and so forth. There is no industry that cannot be touched by AI. It's already mentioned, so I don't need to really repeat it, but I would like to emphasize at the same time. Shortage of people with skills to manage transformation. And these are all the industries you can see that are experiencing shortage of skills. And nowadays, this is the constant perception. Where are the skills? Where are the people? And what do we do as employers? Also, this belongs to something that I'll talk about later, but also how do we change education? Education is super important, and the government also needs to step in properly, particularly maybe in Bulgaria, and hopefully we'll have a government one day soon. But we're not doing anything about education. We're not training people to the new skills that are needed, because hardcore skills are there, they will be there, but do we train people on communication skills? Do we train people on prioritization? Do you train people on emotional intelligence and critical reasoning, skills that are more and more needed nowadays to resolve our daily jobs? AI, again, as I said, is just a tool that is here to stay, and I will encourage you really to embrace it. Go to as many trainings as possible to understand how to be augmented by AI. For example, I also really hate doing presentations. Really, this is driving me nuts. You cannot imagine, like, if every time when I have to do this, and I'm super thankful that I have a team to do that. I don't like to do it. I just give the content. I just give, for example, but we also use AI to generate part of the content. So I train myself almost every day on the new things that are there, particularly around the adoption of the AI, how we can implement it within our work and how we can do it. And just to give you an example, we use quite a lot of AI also in all of our HR departments. Across the whole company, 750,000 people. Why? Because we have data there that is able to give us questions and answers to questions that we are not able to assess very quickly, for example. And this is helping us. And again, most of our processes are fully automated within the HR department itself. But our HR department, that didn't disappear, nor it shrink like 40 or 50,000 times or so. Okay? But yes, 40% of the work can be automated. Again, that doesn't mean that 40% of the people can be replaced. Okay? Just think how I can be augmented by AI, how I can become more relevant to the market. And it was a very good example that actually my kid also is showing me stuff on the phone that I don't know how to do, especially with photos, because I'm maybe like most of you, like a regular is just to take pictures like this, and they never are very good. And then my kid, she's 11, she just comes and touches 20,000 buttons, and everything is cool with the pictures, and now you can post it online. Sometimes before I post a picture, I give it to her, and she's becoming like my personal assistant to make sure that my photos looks good. But yeah, there you go. Kids are much faster than us. And this is the second part where I wanted to focus on what we call life trends. Why they're important? Because they are derived from the speed of change that is happening. you should go and really download and read this report, because this report focuses on 5 very, very important for us trends this year. We produce this report every year. Those trends are changing. Sometimes the report is complementing previous and enhancing, but this year we identified, apologies, the following 5. The first one we call cost of hesitation. The second one is the parent trap, because we are parents. Impatience economy. Why? Because we want things faster. There is a huge FOMO effect. The dignity of work, how we appreciate being employees as well. And also the social rewilding, how we socialize and what is happening with us around the world, and whether we are more digital or not. Normally for this we will need probably 1 hour, but I don't have that much time, so I'll skim through it and give you the pain points of those trends. So the cost of hesitation. Hesitation is becoming a reflex, because it turned out that people now cannot really trust the content that is being served online. More than 50%, as you can see, is seeing the fake content. The question is, how do we fight the fake content, and what companies should be doing in order to sanitize the content? More than 39%, as you can see, are fraudulent product reviews. There are many companies that with the use of AI, and another great example was given early on with the fork. If you use the fork as a weapon, it's becoming dangerous. But if you use it to eat, it's something good, and it gives you a pleasure, probably even to eat your food. Same is with the AIs. There are people that can use AI in a fraudulent way, in a threatening way, and this is important. Why? Companies to become more vigilant on how they're serving the content to their people. Really, are you able to serve a content that is truth? And trust is becoming very important. People are showing affect to companies that they can trust. Companies that can also educate them on the products and to the service, so that they can differentiate the problem. Deepfake is becoming very, very big as well. As you can see, there are lots of videos how you can interpret the voice of the person, interpret the face of the person, and can come up with something. So companies now need to fight this. And the bigger question that companies needs to answer, what is the cost of the hesitation before it turns to abandonment? So if you don't find the right channels to serve the right content to your customers, then you lose the customers. So the cost of hesitation can turn into abandonment very quickly. The next one is the parent trap, and I think this is very important one, because most of us here are parents, I believe. And nowadays, we need to fight between how to empower our children to become more independent, for sure. On the other hand, how we protect them from the digital. Why? For me, this is also very, I fight with this every day, and I'm sure probably your kids are spending lots of time scrolling, yeah? And every day we have some of those conversations with my daughter as well, when I say, like, you need to leave the phone, put it, when you sleep, move the phone out of the room. I don't want you to sleep with the phone in the room, and so on and so forth. But now, this is becoming even more and more important. Why? Because, first of all, with kids before they turn 15, 16, social media is very much shaping how they think, what they want to do, whether something is trendy, and so on and so forth. But social media is being used also for various activities that are not very good for children. There are many schools, for example, in UK, that are banning the phone for kids that are under 14. Australia, as a government, is trying to impose a law that will limit the use of social media to kids also before 13, 14, or 15. Kids are identifying themselves through social media. And another very big problem that is happening, which is connected to the previous trend, and all those life trends, that they're connected, they're not in isolation. Why? What we have found out through the report, and this is a little bit disturbing, is that explicit content is being served to kids, and more so to little ladies than to little gentlemen. 51% of the little ladies are receiving explicit content or being asked to provide explicit content. And this is very dangerous, because then this content is being used to really blackmail the kids. Kids are becoming more silent, because if for whatever reason they were able to be urged to provide such an explicit content, this content is being used against them. The situations where you can go and say, I'm going to provide this to your parents or to the school, and then it's becoming a lot more. So parents and governments in reality need to combine together to figure out how we can fight this. And it's becoming even more and more important for different social groups, because at the same time social media is one way for them to interact, but through social media people are becoming more isolated. That's what the report shows. So focus on this one, because we as parents, we need to find a way to empower our kids. They need to become independent, but at the same time how we really protect them. Interestingly enough, the report also showed something very, very, to me, I was baffling when I was reading this, because there are parents that are against any limitations of the phones for kids to whatever age. Yeah, of course, it's always, there needs to be a balance. The next is impatient economy. To me, this is a very interesting trend, because people now are very impatient. They want things to be served faster. They want things to be served quicker. They want things quicker. They want things faster. They want everything to happen, if possible, yesterday. People prefer quick solutions. Why do they prefer quick solution? Because people nowadays, again, maybe because of the lack of talent into certain organization or to certain industries, you need to wait. You need to wait. If you want to go to a doctor nowadays, you need to wait couple of weeks before you can get an appointment with the most renowned doctor that you want to look for. If you want to get a good financial advice, and if you want to reach to a financial institution that can give you that advice, again, you have to wait. And people are finding those quick solutions, but which is on one hand very good, because this is also pushing companies to become better in identifying ways to serve to their customers in much better, much faster way. However, one thing that we have noticed is, if you get an inspiration from social media, and let's say I post on social media, my leg, I have a problem with my leg, I can receive probably 20,000 replies of how I can fix my leg. Is that really true? My pain on my leg, it's related to one thing, but the pain on the legs to the colleague of mine is related to something else. And this is really worrying when people are trying to steer away from some of the, let's call them traditional ways, to go to a proper doctor to examine you in order to give you the right prescription. Unfortunately, as you see, more than 60% are getting inspiration from social media, which is good, okay? But where is the critical reasoning? How do you really rely on that information? Is it really true or not? Also, one thing that we have noticed, there are lots of also contents in serving, if you do this 5 steps, you're gonna lose weight very quickly. And in order to prove that this is not true, by the way, I followed one example of such a trend for really 10 days, doing all those exercises that they were showing for health purpose. I didn't lose any weight. Why? Probably I was not doing it right. I like to eat sweet quite a lot, and in the evening when I don't know, when I read a lot, at some point at 12 o'clock in the evening, I wake up and start eating my daughter's biscuits, and in the morning she gets pissed because I have eaten all her biscuits. Yeah? So, is this really true? So if I get a personal trainer, I'm sure I'll get a better result, because they will prepare me, really, they will get to know me. They will give me the right information on what food I need to eat, what kind of exercise I need to take, and then 100% I'll get a better result. So that's why I did it on purpose, and it's proving that it's wrong, because through social media nobody knows you. In reality, everybody knows you, and somehow nobody really knows you, because it's not related really to you. You're also trying to respond to a trend that it's somehow interesting for the audience. So what companies need to really do? They need to find the right channels. They need to adopt their models in order to really to serve to the customers better, but into the right way. And the one that I like a lot is, again, the dignity of work. This is related to us as employees and at the same time as employers. Why this is important? Work-life balance, right? Nowadays, everybody wants a work-life balance, which is fantastic. And this is the most important thing that we need to do in order to be healthy, I believe. Because after the pandemic, we saw people actually increase the number of hours that they're working, which starts impacting their health, they start impacting their social life, their families, and so on and so forth. Work-life balance is super important. But the workplace is also very, very important. How we as employers are ensuring that actually people feel okay when they work for us. They can have the right career. They can stay long with us if they want to and if they prefer to, hopefully. But what happens? Only 29% of the employees trust the leaders have the best interest at heart. One thing that we have, and we have done a very huge research on that one. And we have another report that is called Work Worker. You can also download from the website. We have found a huge discrepancy between what the people think and what the executives really think. People don't trust that the executives are going to implement AI to augment their work. They don't trust that. Because all you hear is improve productivity. And if you improve only productivity, so then we can save whatever number of hours, and what we're going to do with the people, we don't know what to do with the people. Ergo, sometimes maybe we have to reduce and dismiss those people. I was watching a very interesting interview with NVIDIA CEO, and he said, we use a lot of AI in our processes, in our operations, but we keep on recruiting. Normally what happens, smart companies are recruiting. Smart companies are investing into their talent. This report showed that actually the investment into the training has reduced last year by 30%. And I wonder, if you're reducing the training to your people, then why are you complaining that there is no talent into the market? You should not be doing that. I had a professor when I was studying in the States, one of our professors called Michael Tushman, he had this book that is called Explore and Exploit. And he said that, and this stuck with me since that lecture we had with him. He said, in difficult times, all you need is to explore and invest in your people. Because when the times are good, then you start to exploit. Then you're going to bear the fruits for all your investments because you'll be far advanced into the market comparing to all your competition. Why? And that's why I was super surprised when I saw that actually the training numbers, the training amounts have been reduced significantly. Why? You shouldn't be doing this. And also, this report also showed that how many, when you do Christmas parties, right? Do all the people attend those Christmas parties in your companies? In most of the companies, people notice that about 50 to 60% tops are attending the Christmas parties, not like before. People don't feel connected. And another important thing, very often companies talk about the people as a resource. People don't like that. How many often, and I'm sure that everybody here, I'm not going to ask you to raise a hand because everybody falls a victim of that when, especially the service company, we'll talk about like, oh, I have those super great resources for you, for your client meeting, right? We have those great talents and these resources will help you. People see this, people hear this, and they don't like it. People want to be treated as human beings, and this is where we need to focus. So, again, don't reduce the amount of training. Give every tool possible to train your people. We spend as a company globally more than 1 billion in training every single year. 1 billion, imagine. Of course, we are a lot of people, but trainings are available across the year for everybody. And we have mandatory trainings for the people. Not because we want to impose trainings, but because we want people to get to those new things that will be very interesting to them for the future. And we're training those people not because they need to stay with us, okay? Just because they need to become more relevant for them. And the last piece is the social rewarding. This is very interesting one. Do you know why? Because people, contrary to the belief, they want to continue go to the shops. They want to touch the products. They want to try the products. They want to go with their friends to the mall. They want to buy whatever they want to buy, but they want to buy quickly and then escape. They don't want to spend time on buying the stuff. They want to spend time experiencing. This is what this trend is showing, actually. There is a huge increase, contrary to the belief after the pandemic. Many retailers are thinking that they're going to close lots of stores, and they initially started closing stores. But actually now it's going the other way around again. People need to go to the stores, but the experience within those stores will change. People want to spend more time with their friends instead of the digital. Why? Because we are humans, we want human touch. And interestingly enough, people want to continue reading books, yeah, but physical books. It's not only about, yes, when you travel, it's very convenient to use your iPad or Kindle or whatever tool you're using, yeah? So this is my last piece of the report. Please download it. I'm here to stay. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. And yeah, thank you very much.
Cost of hesitation, I will remember that.
Please do.
Yeah. Thank
And
you very
don't
much,
hesitate.
Peter. Thank you.